The first time I saw it, I was meditating on my bed on trying to contact UFOs, as described by Stephen Greer in some of his protocols. And all of a sudden I came round, and in my lampshade looked like a UFO, a sort of circular one, disc shape. And the next thing I knew, I could hear a fighter jet flying over my house at high velocity, which made me think there was a UFO involved or something. So I jumped up and looked out the window, and what I saw was from the sound of where the fighter jet was coming over, I just saw 4 huge, great bright flashes of white light, and the energy was really intense. And I mean, I wouldn't have thought anything of it except for the fact that I was trying to contact UFOs at the time, and I had this real strong experience of love when it happened. So I mean, make up your own mind about that. And then the second time it happened, a few weeks later, I was actually watching a UFO documentary at the time, and it got to quite an emotional part in the documentary where they were speaking about. And all of a sudden, I was feeling emotional about my parents and stuff, and it sort of really opened up my chakras and that. And all of a sudden, I had the fighter jets flying over again. I thought, oh, here we go again. So I looked out, and this time, from the sound of where the fighter jet was going, it was going the opposite way, east direction. I could just see a golden ball of light. It was moving like that. I thought, it's a bit strange. So I said in my head, if you're a UFO, go up and down. And the minute I said that, this golden ball of light, which was making the noise of an aeroplane, it suddenly shot up straight in the air, went along and shot down about 100, 200 feet. And it moved along a bit further, moved up, disappeared, blinked out, appeared nothing there, moved up further, blinked back on, off, along, down, blinking in and out, and then it came back on, went into the distance, and then it just went up into the distance, and then the golden light just turned into a plane. I could see the nav lights, the red and the green lights. I mean, when it was going up and down, I was convinced it was a UFO, but then I was like, oh, it's just a plane. But again, I was watching a UFO documentary, that, you know, one of those coincidences. Third time, I can't remember what initiated it, but it was something again where I was thinking about UFOs, maybe, you know, one of those coincidences. And there was another fighter jet going over the house. I'm near an RAF base, so it's not unusual, but they don't normally fly over at full velocity like these 3 times. I've only ever heard it once really since, just a few years ago. And anyway, this third time I could see this golden ball of light. It was flying over like that in the sky. It could have been like the space station. If you ever see the space station, it's very bright sometimes. It's sort of protein dust. It's a bit brighter than that, I'm not so sure. And below that was a fighter jet, which just started flying below it. The fighter jet just seemed to go past it, just seemed to ignore it really. So it made me think it maybe was just the ISS. But then over to the left, this is one of the strangest sightings that's unexplainable. I saw some. I can't remember the colour. I drew a picture of it. Like it was either a green orb with a red outline, or a red orb with a green outline. I think it was green light with a red outline. It just started floating through the sky like this, just like an earth energy or a light or something. I went to grab my camera, I pointed my camera at it. This camera's been used there, and as soon as it just faded away, and I got nothing. And that's my 3 UFO signs that I tried to make contact and sort of open my mind. And next time I'll come back to one of my even more crazy experiences. But thank you. Love to all starseeds and everyone on the planet and everyone off the planet. Namaste. Hey. Thank you. Bye. I'll do. Cheers, Will. Okay, so this is where my shamanic ego death type experience started to happen. Just as the marijuana started to kick in, I was just turned into the forest here. Luckily, because don't drive and smoke drugs, it's bad for you. It doesn't do your lungs any good either. But it can help you open your mind to spiritual experiences if used correctly. And so I was coming down here, and I'd had the experience once before, but I blocked it out. I couldn't deal with it. I was actually at home on my bed. Another time I'd smoked cannabis because I'd had a break from cannabis. And if you have a good break and then smoke it, it's really intense. And basically, all of a sudden, you realise that you're connected to everything. But the fact that you're trapped in this body starts to freak you out. I don't know. It's really hard to explain what happened because it was a while ago now. But basically, I was just confronting my own mortality. That's basically what it is. It's basically, somehow, psychologically, I felt like I was going to be annihilated. I don't know how it happened, but it feels just like, I don't know, just everything's too much. Like, you know, that we're incarnated on this planet and the situation we're stuck in, and basically got to deal with everything, you know, all the negative wars, the fact that we die, the fact that, you know, we might, that was it. I was confronting the idea And the fact there and then, I was basically confronting my own death there and then, the fact that I might not exist after this existence. And when that sort of thought is real in your head, and it was sort of that how I confronted, and I felt like I was going to be annihilated. And I knew I'd had it before, and I knew that if I refused it, it was going to get painful. And I did. I felt like I'd gone mad last time, literally. I thought I'd gone insane. It was not pleasant until I fell asleep and then woke up and had apple pie and it was fine. But this time I realised I had to confront it. But I knew I had to accept that I was an infinite being. That was the only way I was going to get out of the insanity. I had to accept that I was an infinite being and I would exist forever, and that I was connected to everything, because basically that is the shamanic belief and all indigenous tribes belief, all spiritual belief. Okay, so in that moment, as I expanded out, it was just basically into a state of pure euphoria, and I mean, I've done LSD in the past and ecstasy, I admit, and you know, you can have real enlightening experience on them, but when you're on the drugs you feel like, you know, less coherence. But in this experience it's like more amazing than anything like that, but you also feel more coherent, you know, you're more focused, more aware of your reality. So in that moment I got here to the forest, and as I got here, just euphoric feelings were just amazing. I was just getting higher and higher in every moment, you know, nothing like you normally get off cannabis, you know, this was far beyond that. And I remember as I got here, it was like my higher self had taken over my body. It really was. I say it wasn't me, but I mean, it was more of me really. But it was not this me here. It was like my higher self was like fully in my body when I was experiencing this. And I remember seeing the trees over here. Can you just show them? I remember looking at those. Okay, bring the camera back to me now. Cheers, thank you. So I remember looking at those trees, and I was doing this. It was like I was remembering a foreign life or something. I did this, you know, continental European people, they do this sort of thing. Like this, I was doing this, and I felt like the trees, my long lost family, and I was going, oh, how can I forget you, my long lost family? And I was just like crying my eyes out to this raw emotion, beautiful emotion. And I just felt like connected to everything. And after that I headed off into the forest that way, and every step I took I was just getting higher and higher, and it was just like I have back problems and also muscle problems, and I was doing this, I was going like this, and I was like, I was shaking all the illness and all the negativity just straight out my body, and it was just like healing everything in my body, except I got down to one point, my back, which was really bad, and I just knew that if I tried to do that there'd be a big loud crack and I'd be crippled, so I just knew this somehow, so I didn't bother. Anyway, I came further on into the forest, and that's where, you know, I had real experience, but we'll go into the forest now and I'll explain it near the site where it happened, okay? Okay, this is where I just entered the forest here. This is where the energy started going through the roof. Just look at the floor here, all the green grass on the floor, I don't know if you can see it. Everything was just so intensely green, that's what I remember about it. It was like, I just felt like I was in another dimension. It was like I was still here on Earth, obviously I was here. But I just felt like I'd gone like multi-dimensional, and like the grass was greener, the air was now crisper, the light was like, all the colours were different. It was just incredible. Anyway, we'll stop there and I'll go a bit further on and I'll explain what happened with the next spot. Okay, and what I was doing here is I was just doing this. I can't quite remember, it was so nice. I was going, I've got the energy going, I was going like this. I was just like just draining all the negativity out of me, just raising my vibration. Every time I did that, the vibration just went. Right, so the cameraman's just wandered off into the woods here, so we might as well do the next bit here. I was just round the corner there, and the energies got that high. I started thinking to myself, who might I attract to myself in this high resonating state? Because law of attraction. And I started thinking I might attract my soulmate, even though I was in the middle of the forest, in the middle of nowhere. I just thought I might attract my soulmate to me. And then all of a sudden I thought to myself, no, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to meet the ETs. And all of a sudden I had all like these, I've been having this precognitive dream of seeing ships in the sky. And it all made sense, because what it was, it came back to me on the boat in Amsterdam. I was actually seeing ships, like cargo ships on the sea on the way to Amsterdam, which was the start of this experience. And then, but I'd seen them in the sky, in the dream, floating past my house in the sky, and it's obviously relating that experience with the ET phenomenon, because I was fascinated with ETs up to this point, and UFOs and that. And all of a sudden, I started having past life memories coming, or pre-incarnation memories coming back to me, of knowing that that's what the precognitive dream's about, that's what this was all about, and I was here to have contact with extraterrestrials, and this was what I thought at the time. And I never actually had contact. I don't remember having any contact with any extraterrestrials in this experience, but that was what the aim was. And at that point I started heading deeper into the forest, following my judgment, my excitement, just looking like left and right, thinking which way is it, and just, you know, to sense it, like in the movie The Celestine Prophecy. If you've only read the book, in the movie he actually sees like this shimmer of light. I haven't read the book yet, I've got it. And that's how you know where to go. Well, I don't know, you just sense that you're supposed to go in direction. It's like your excitement, one's more exciting than another, it looks nicer. And I was doing that all the way through the forest with the intent. I was just convinced that I was going to meet the ETs. Possibly Bashar's people, or someone related to me, in the forest. So I just went deeper and deeper this way, and we'll go to the spot where it happened, where everything went totally crazy. Okay, so here we are deeper in the forest, and at this point my energies were through the roof. I felt like I was in some multi-dimensional experience, and I was convinced I was on my destiny to have contact with extraterrestrials down there. So this is one of the real points I was thinking about in the Celestine movie. I mean, it's happening all the time, but where you've got two paths, you just got to follow your intuition where to go. And I can't remember which way I went, to be honest. We think it's going to be the left. We're going with the left because the cameraman's just had beetroots come to him, so we think it might mean the beaten roots, the path the deer have made. We're going this way anyway, and as we get deeper in, I mean, on the note of the extraterrestrial thing, I don't have a conscious memory of having any contact, but I reached a real high point before I freaked out, which I'll speak later. And I'm wondering if in that interlude I had some contacts with maybe SSRNI, the Bashar. I mean, they say they can have contact with us and erase our memories somehow, or make it so we don't remember, so maybe that happened. And I have actually, when I was walking down there the other day, I did try to go back to that, and I did actually have a vision of a grey. I mean, I might be writing stuff into my memory, who knows, but it was a very intense experience, so I might have even had contact down here, but I don't really remember it. And the experience was amazing anyway. It was like multi-dimensional, God experience. I think quantum moment is how it's sometimes called, but we'll go down there anyway. Hi, okay, so I can't find the spot where it happened exactly, unfortunately. The energies are pretty awesome here, so we'll stop here. What happened here, my energies going through the roof, I'd had like these past life memories or something of remembering that I'd arranged to have ET contact here, and all like these precognitive dreams that I'd had since childhood and again recently. They were all making sense. Everything made sense. It was like I had access to all knowledge in the universe. I only could access what I needed to know there. I couldn't know what horse was going to win the next race and bet on it, obviously. And so the energies are amazing. And next thing though, I remember thinking, but if the energies of this, you know, I got paranoid basically, and I remember thinking that, you know, about Neo in the Matrix, how he's got the agents after him, all like deep fears came up like this because my vibration was so high. It was like bubbling up deep psychological embedded fears. And I freaked out at that point somehow, thinking I was being chased by because there were planes flying over and helicopters, and it freaked me out, making me think like there was black forces after me or something, like Men in Black or something. They picked me up on some radar, which is highly unlikely, but I went paranoid and I ended up hiding underneath this tree. But at this point I was just like connected to everything, and like all these animals were swarming around me. There was like, I could hear them all, and I was freaked out hiding in case the Men in Black were after me, which seems very ridiculous now, but at the time it seemed very real. And at that point I freaked out and I just ran out the forest, just full pelts. And I remember thinking to myself, just believe the forest will open up in front of you, and it will. And it did, and the forest just opened up right in front of me. And I remember thinking at one point, what would the Mysticon people do? And I don't know what that means, but I feel there's some ancient spiritual people who are in tune with the earth. And what they suggested was I followed the deer runs. So I was like on my hands and knees, like going through these deer runs through the brambles. And next thing I just ran through the forest, and the speed I was running, that was amazing because I wasn't very healthy at the time. I was just, even though I'd come down from the heightened state, because this paranoia would like knock me out of my heightened state, whatever made me paranoid, and I ended up running out the forest.